Songs of Solomon 7 verse 1 says, how beautiful are thy feet with shoes. You know, when we think about the fancy shoes, and ladies, you know, the men cannot outdoors. When it comes on to the styles, when it comes on to the color, and I mean the design. I mean, here in the West, I don't know about the eastern part of the world, but here in the West, we have shoes that can make the feet look beautiful. And many times, you know, we put an emphasis on beautifying our feet, the physical feet. Money is spent, and I have to admit, friends, I have been guilty. You know, sometimes you get a little salary increase, and before you put it to good use, you know, you see a nice pair of shoes and you go to buy it. You don't need it, you know. Because, I mean, how many, we have 2 feet, my brothers and sisters, ladies especially. How much shoes really do we need to have? You know, and I end up wasting, when I think about it, I wasted thousands of dollars on shoes that could be put to better use. You know, and you have so many of them, after a while they start to dry rot. Now, I couldn't afford to buy the very expensive ones. You know, I was in the middle or to the very low income side of things. And I mean, but whether or not money still were wasted, because I can't wear all of these shoes. And the emphasis on me, you know, you want the handbag to match the shoes and the hat, especially when you're going to church. You know, we kind of fussy that way. So that emphasis is made. You know, that level of importance is placed on beautifying the feet here. So, but it's still spiritually, we have neglected to do that. To beautify the feet with the gospel. Running to neighbors, running to family members with a certain level of urgency. Remember now, we are living in a judgment hour era, and we can't just sit back in comfort. So we have to run with the gospel to tell the lost and dying world, look, Jesus is coming again. Get ready. Jesus is coming again. Isaiah 52 verse 7 said, how beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of him that bringeth good tidings. Because we live in a world where it's pure bad news. Pandemic, the pan top of we. So many things are happening. Persons losing their job. Some have to be living in their cars now. Some don't live anywhere. So many things are happening. So many bad news. But here is the good news. Jesus saves. You might not have nowhere, but look, Jesus saves. So how beautiful are the feet of those that publisheth peace in a world where it's fear war. Countries develop atomic bombs as a threat to others. You know, to ward that if I try anything, I just press that button there. You know, so you know, in a world, we have to publish peace that bring good tidings of good, that publisheth salvation, that saith unto Zion, thy God reigneth. So we have to bring the message of salvation to let men and women know. You know, so many times we run with gossip. You know, my brothers and sisters, you know, bad news that spread rumors about other people. No, let us put that aside and start to tell others about the love of Jesus. You know, when the apostles were done, in Acts 17 verse 6, it tells us that they said that the apostles turned the world upside down. And as God's people, we need to start do this. To run to the jail houses, run to the mad houses, run to the court houses and the marketplaces and in the towns and in the cities. You know, the country areas, run, brothers and sisters, and tell them about the good news of salvation. Walk. The emphasis is on walking. Walk to these areas, you know, spiritually, my brothers and sisters, and to tell them about the goodness of salvation. So let us beautify our feet. You know, let us not sit back in ease. We live in a world where that's the age of comfort. But friends, let us get walking right now. Let us start moving as the Spirit bids us. They moved, the apostles moved. They went everywhere and anywhere as the Spirit of the living God moved upon them. They never sit still unless the Spirit of God said they were to stop here. They were placed in prison, but that didn't stop them. They still proclaim the gospel of salvation. Let us pray. If we don't, pray for such, that we will be so filled with the Spirit of the living God that we will not fear, but we will walk where He said we ought to walk, and to bring that gospel of salvation to others. Let us pray. Lord.